Well, on to the details now. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited an aid inspection point in Israel during his 7th visit to Israel since October 7th attack. The U.S. Secretary of State, along with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, visited the Kerem Shalom aid crossing and got the first up-close view of the Gaza Strip. Later, talking to media, Blinken said that progress on improving humanitarian access to Gaza was real, but it needed to be accelerated.
The progress is real, but given the need, given the immense need in Gaza, it needs to be accelerated, it needs to be sustained. And as we focus on all of the necessary inputs, the number of trucks that are moving, what matters the most is the impact.
Well, Blinken also sold to reporters that Israel has made important compromises over a proposal for a deal that would see hostages released in exchange for a ceasefire, but it was up to Hamas to take that deal.
Israel has made very important compromises in the proposal that's on the table, demonstrating its desire and willingness to get this agreement and get it done. Now, as we've been saying, it's on Hamas. Hamas has to decide whether it will take this deal and actually advance the situation for the people that it purports to care about in Gaza. There is no time for delay. There's no time for further haggling. The deal is there. They should take it.
Also reiterating U.S. stand on Rafah, the U.S. Secretary of State said that Washington will not support such an offensive.
On Rafah itself, look, our position is clear. It hasn't changed. It won't change. We will not support a major military operation in Rafah absent an effective plan to make sure that civilians are not harmed. And no, we have not seen such a plan.
Also, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Wednesday made a brief stop at Kibbutz Nir Oz in southern Israel, where Hamas terrorists attacked on October 7th, killing dozens of residents and kidnapping others. During his visit, accompanied by Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Blinken went to the heavily damaged home of an American-Israeli family, all of whom, including 5-year-old twins, were killed in the assault. The conflict began when Hamas terrorists attacked Israel on October 7th last year, killing 1,200 people and abducting over 250 others. Also, Israeli military released a video on Wednesday showing 8 trucks in southern Israel driving through the Erez crossing point into northern Gaza. Israel reopened the Erez crossing into Gaza on Wednesdays following U.S. demands to do more to address the growing humanitarian crisis in the enclave. The Erez crossing was destroyed during the Hamas attacks on October 7th and then remained closed. Israel announced it would reopen the crossing last month, a few days after Israeli airstrikes killed humanitarian workers delivering food aid in Gaza. The Israeli government reopened the additional crossing point on the same day that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he urged more aid deliveries into the territory. And India has once again reiterated its commitment to support a two-state solution where the Palestinian people are able to live freely in an independent country with due regard to the security needs of Israel. Delivering an address at the United Nations General Assembly meeting on Gaza, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, said that India's position on the conflict has been clear and has been stated on several occasions.
The ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has led to a large-scale loss of civilian lives, especially women and children, and a humanitarian crisis which is simply unacceptable. We have strongly condemned the deaths of civilians in the conflict. Only a two-state solution achieved through direct and meaningful negotiations between both sides on final status issues will deliver an enduring peace. India is committed to supporting a two-state solution where the Palestinian people are able to live freely in an independent country within secure borders with due regard to the security needs of Israel.
And updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Thick smoke was seen rising from a fire inside a postal depot in the Ukrainian port of Odessa on Thursday. A Russian ballistic missile was reported to have struck the facility, injuring 14 people. The video posted by Odessa's mayor Henadel Trukhanov showed billowing clouds of smoke rising as firefighters trained their hoses on areas still ablaze. Most of the area appeared to have been reduced to a burnt debris. Odessa is a frequent target of Russian attacks and missiles. And Ukrainian artillery servicemen fighting in the country's east said they didn't have enough shells to counter Russian attacks as they waited for U.S. military aid to arrive. The soldiers serving in the 148th Artillery Brigade talked about irregular shell supply and insufficient rotation to get rest from frontline fighting. Earlier, NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg said the flow of arms and ammunition would now increase as the U.S. Congress having approved a Ukraine aid package worth more than $60 billion. And German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock and her Polish counterpart Radoslaw Sikorski met on the country's shared border on Wednesday to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Poland's accession to the EU. Poles and Germans are safer in the EU, said Sikorski, and said he appealed for younger generations not to allow this right to be a free Europe to be taken from them. Joschka Fischer and Włodzimierz Cimoszek, who were respectively the foreign ministers of Germany and Poland in 2004, also took part in the anniversary celebrations. Well, it was a day of contrast for the abortion rights to women in 2 states of the U.S. Florida's 6-week abortion ban took effect on Wednesday. While Arizona lawmakers repealed a stringent abortion ban that dates to the Civil War era, Florida's new law will be one of the most restrictive in the country and effectively amount to a complete ban 6 weeks gestation is before many women know they are pregnant. Further, the state still requires 2 in-person visits with the abortion provider 24 hours apart. While in Arizona, a pair of Republican senators joined with the All-Democrats while voting to repeal a Civil War-era law that would ban almost all abortions with no exceptions for rape or incest, the bill next heads to the governor who has promised to sign it. Well, abortion is the top issue in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Staying with it, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris visited Florida on the same day and sought to blame Republican candidate Donald Trump for the same.
Starting this morning, women in Florida became subject to an abortion ban so extreme it applies before many women even know they are pregnant. Which, by the way, tells us the extremists who wrote this ban either don't know how a woman's body works or they simply don't care.
Well, Florida's abortion ban threatens the future of the state's clinics and abortion funds and forcing patients to travel hundreds of thousands of miles to get the procedure. Both healthcare professionals and people, especially women, emphasize the hardships. They say it is a significant setback for women's rights.
That is a really challenging reality for me, not just as a physician or an abortion provider, but as a person and as a woman and as someone who could become pregnant in the state of Florida.
It's all bad. I feel like the abortion ban in general, like having it be illegal in the first place, is bad for women, not only women, but young people in the coming generations, because it's like they're not even taking us into consideration and taking other possibilities or other mindsets or opinions into considerations.
I think that having an abortion ban in Florida, especially when access to healthcare is already so hard here, just makes it a lot worse. And I think that, honestly, I think that the future holds a lot of deaths.
Well, campaigning for the U.S. presidential election is well underway, especially in some swing states that are predicted to hold great importance in who will win between likely candidates. Current President Joe Biden and the former President Donald Trump made it to Wisconsin and Michigan on Wednesday for rallies despite ongoing court cases. Biden is off to Delaware on Thursday to talk infrastructure and jobs, and Michigan later this month. Let's take a look at DD India's correspondent Caroline Malone's report from Washington for more.
Former US President Donald Trump may be mid a major criminal trial in New York, but that didn't stop him from campaigning on Wednesday in other states. He made it to Wisconsin, where he spoke to crowds of supporters to address a number of critical issues to voters. He said it was a, quote, beautiful thing to watch to see New York police officers raiding a Columbia University building that had been occupied by pro-Palestinian students. He's called the protesters raging lunatics and Hamas sympathizers, and he described scenes as New York under siege and praised the officers for arresting about 300 people. While White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said that the Biden administration is looking into plans to relocate some Palestinian refugees related to US citizens. President Biden is also due to speak next week at the Holocaust Memorial event off the back of criticism he hasn't done enough to stop anti-Semitism at campuses. Well, on abortion issues, Trump said in Wisconsin that he supports his policy of letting states decide where they stand on it. Whereas Vice President Kamala Harris said from Jacksonville, Florida, that another Trump term would mean more suffering for women. That's also likely to be Biden's messaging when he rallies in other states later this month. First, though, he'll go to Wilmington, Delaware, to talk about projects to build better US infrastructure, how that will be good for creating jobs and for the US economy. Caroline Malone, Washington, for DD India.
And we'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned.
As India decides in the world's largest election,
we help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colours of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Kuran, and moving on, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of the former President John F. Kennedy, is hoping to cause an upset in this year's U.S. presidential election. He's running for the White House with little chance of winning. For his presence in the race could be the biggest wild card in November's election and could lead to Joe Biden or Donald Trump losing votes in important swing states to this independent candidate. Nick Harper reports for more from Washington.
A new twist this morning for the country's most famous political dynasty.
He's got the name, he's got the money. Now Robert F. Kennedy needs the support. That's no easy task in a country dominated by two main parties, with two well-known established candidates, Democrat Joe Biden and Republican Donald Trump.
Of course, he's got the Kennedy last name, a sort of royalty within the Democratic Party, but, he's best known, I think, is other than for being a Kennedy, is known as a vaccine skeptic. There may be people that he brings out of the woodwork who are not naturally, in either party camp.
Kennedy bills himself as a truth teller, but his controversial views include promoting health misinformation and amplifying conspiracy theories, including that the CIA was responsible for the assassination of his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. But despite his views, Kennedy poses a threat. with the potential to pull votes away from Biden or Trump.
A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for our democracy and our decency.
Kennedy's own family, all Democrats, have criticised RFK, warning about his dangerous views and publicly backing Biden. Kennedy's task is made even harder because he officially needs to get on the ballot in each of the 50 US states. That requires thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of signatures from supporters. And so far, he lacks that widespread support.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. here with some great news. As of today, Nicole and I are officially on the ballot in California.
Confirmation of California this past week gives him a boost, but it's only the 4th state that he's qualified for. And experts say support for independent candidates usually declines closer to the election.
People get cold feet and they decide at the very end that they don't want to waste their vote. And it's not clear that voters would really approve or vote for somebody like this until we get down to Election Day.
Winning the White House is a mathematical impossibility for Kennedy, but he still has the potential to have the spoiler effect on the other campaigns, denying Biden or Trump the presidency. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
British authorities have started to retain migrants to be sent to Rwanda in the next 9 to 11 weeks. A law to pave the way for sending asylum seekers to Rwanda was approved by Parliament in April, and Sunak wants the first flights to take off in July. More than 7,500 migrants have arrived in England on small boats from France so far this year. 5 people died trying to make the crossing last week. Human rights charities and unions opposed to the policy are expected to launch fresh legal challenges to stop the flights from taking off after the UK Supreme Court declared the policy unlawful last year. And Irish police dismantled about 200 tents housing asylum seekers in Dublin, tackling what has become a focal point for heated debate around migration. Ireland is struggling to accommodate record numbers of refugees while facing a housing shortage. Authorities dismantled illegally constructed migrant tents in Dublin. Barricades remained in place while a Dublin street was hosed down on Wednesday after Irish police dismantled about 200 tents that were housing asylum seekers there. And the 2024 London mayoral election is due to be held on the 2nd of May to elect the next mayor of London. It will take place simultaneously with elections to the London Assembly. The voting in this election will take place under the first-past-the-post system for the first time, replacing the supplementary vote system. There are 8 other candidates in total. Delhi-born Indian candidate Tarun Gulati to also contest in the London mayoral election, the elected mayor to serve the unit for a period of 4 years. And dozens of Haitian families have found shelter in a Port-au-Prince school turned into a camp as they waited for gang violence to wane off. A temporary presidential council has been installed in Haiti with the mission of bringing peace to the country and to call for elections before the 2026 when its term expires. According to UN estimates, more than 1 person was killed in Haiti gang violence every hour in the first 3 months of this year. Haiti has experienced an escalation in gang violence since February. The security situation has displaced thousands and caused catastrophic hunger there. And in Georgia, thousands gathered outside Parliament waving Georgian and European Union flags for a second night to protest against the foreign agents. Riot police in Georgia fired tear gas and water cannon into crowds protesting against a bill seen by the opposition as targeting media freedoms. Georgia's Parliament on Wednesday approved the second reading of a bill on foreign agents that has been criticized as Kremlin-inspired. The EU warns it could harm Tbilisi's ambition of joining the bloc. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Wednesday she was following events in Georgia with great concern. And residents living near Indonesia's Ruang volcano said they were aware of the mountain's eruption as they waited on Wednesday for the nation's military ship to evacuate them away from the volcano. Wednesday's eruption spewed lava and flows of ash clouds, prompting authorities to evacuate more than 12,000 people from the battered region. Authorities also raised the alert status of Ruang to her highest level earlier and warned the residents for a tsunami. And with bare hands and basic tools, desperate families dug through rubble searching for loved ones still missing after devastating floods swept through central Kenya this week, killing at least 48 people. Across Kenya, floods and landslides have killed 181 since March. Authorities have urged Kenyans living in low-lying areas to evacuate as heavier than usual rainfall is expected to persist. President of Kenya has deployed soldiers to aid search efforts, but the heavy machinery have not reached the battered region yet. Well, 10 people died and 21 are missing due to heavy rains this week in Brazil's southern state. Authorities reported over 1,400 displaced individuals in the wake of storms that led to rising river levels and flooding in various parts of the state. The officials predict a flooding risk across the entire state given the prospect of prolonged downpour in the coming days. The government is working to locate the missing and ensure safety in areas at risk. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The United Kingdom gets its first Sikh court to resolve issues. The court will formally open on the 1st of June and will deal with cases related to private family matters or community issues of Sikh community in Britain located in London's Lincoln Inn. American actor Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzine, along with fellow cast and crew members of comedy and romance movie The Idea of You, hit the red carpet in New York to premiere the romantic comedy. Directed by Michelle Showalter, it is based on the novel of the same name by actor and author Robina Lee. The Idea of You is due to be released on Prime Video on the 2nd of May. A Mexican town marked May Day with the annual Donkey Festival to honor the hard-working animal and maintain the decade-long tradition. The National Donkey Festival is a twist to the Labor Day in the 16th century rural Mexican town of Otumba. The festivity started with a polo game on donkey's back and continued with a costume parade, a race and a braying contest to amuse fans from all over the country. Ukrainians gathered in Kyiv to paint traditional Ukrainian Easter eggs. More than 800 artists painted traditional Easter eggs to support Ukraine's bid to add the craft to UNESCO's World List of Intangible Cultural Heritage Elements. And the landmark Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and the UAE completes 2 years on the 1st of May 2024. It has made trade much easier between the two countries. My colleague Munmun Bhattacharya spoke with UAE's ambassador to India, Dr. Abdul Nasir Al-Shali in Mumbai on the milestone. Take a listen.
How was the idea mooted of having a CEPA, a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement?
India, for us, is only a natural partner that we would do this with. And so talks began, and no one thought that they will be done under 3 months, but everyone pulled through, and it was quite a feat to be achieved. And here we are today, celebrating the second year anniversary of implementing it. It's been going great. Trade has increased by 16%. Our trade, including oil, is at $85 billion. Interest between the two countries in terms of companies wanting to invest either way is phenomenal. I have meetings scheduled all the time with companies from the UAE wanting to invest and expand into India, or Indian companies wanting to expand into the UAE. And what I find personally interesting is that whenever a business roundtable is held that is CEPA related, the interest varies based on where you do the business roundtable. So if you do it in this state, you will get representatives from this emirate. And if you do it in that state, you will get representatives from the second emirate. And to me, this is a true and genuine connection, not only between the two countries, but between our emirates and the Indian states.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. DD India correspondents track the poll pulse of voters across the country.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibilities, teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times. Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visits Karam Shalom aid crossing, says progress on aid to Gaza is real but needs to be accelerated. Also visits site of October 7 killings in Israel. From Florida to Arizona, abortion politics dominate the 2024 U.S. presidential race. 6-week ban takes effect in Florida, while Arizona legislators repealed the 1864 law restricting the procedure. India witnessed high-octane campaign for third phase of general elections, with top leaders holding election rallies and road shows in various constituencies. And in sports, top seeder Jannik Sinner withdraws from Madrid Open due to injury. And now let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Well, campaigning has intensified as the third phase of general elections is just 5 days away on the 7th of May. Leaders from various political parties are leaving no stone unturned to appeal voters to come out in large numbers and exercise their franchise. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to hold multiple public rallies in western Indian state of Gujarat. While India's Home Minister and senior BJP leader Amit Shah will address multiple election rallies in North India's Uttar Pradesh. Bharatiya Janata Party National President JP Nadda will also address public meetings in Bihar, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. While Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will address public meetings in Uttar Pradesh's Itaha and Firozabad, he will also hold a roadshow in Mainpuri. The process of filing nomination papers is also underway. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan will file nomination from Odisha Sambalpur Lok Sabha seat on Thursday. BJP candidate from West Delhi, Kamaljeet Sahrewal, will also file nomination papers for the 25th May polls. Also, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi will address public meetings in Chirimiri and Korba district of Chhattisgarh. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge will also address a public rally in Karnataka's Shimoga on Thursday. Congress leader Sachin Pilot will address public rallies in Sarangarh, Simartal village and Bilaspur in Chhattisgarh. Rashtriya Janata Dal's Tejasvi Yadav will hold election campaign in Uttar Pradesh's Hasanpur, Bihar's Samastipur and Araria. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's wife, Sunita Kejriwal, will also address public meetings in Gujarat's Bharuch and Bhavnagar. Well, the Election Commission on Wednesday banned former Telangana Chief Minister and BRS Chief K Chandrasekhar Rao from campaigning for 48 hours. He was banned for making derogatory and objectionable statements against Congress. In a complaint filed with the ECI, TPCC Senior Vice President G. Niranjan claimed that Chandrasekhar Rao had disparaged and offended Congress lawmakers at a news conference in Sirikela. The comments were deemed by the ECI to be unverified accusations and derogatory remarks that could damage the opposition party's reputation and interfere with the fairness of the current electoral process. The poll authority indicated that if Rao does not respond within time, the Election Commission will take appropriate action against him. Well, as election season grips the state, Goa's fishermen struggle with dwindling catches, coastal restrictions and unfair enforcement and tourism's impact. Fight for sustainable fishing practices and protection of fishermen's rights continues. Jessica Taneja reports for more.
In the tranquil village of Coco Beach, nestled along the picturesque coastline of Goa, fishermen have long relied on the bountiful waters of the Arabian Sea for their livelihoods. For generations, Denzel Cardoso's family has cast their nets into the shimmering waters, providing a fresh catch to sustain families and communities. However, beneath the surface of this idyllic scene, fishermen face a host of challenges. Overfishing and unsustainable practices have depleted the waters, making it increasingly difficult for fishermen like Denzel to make ends meet.
We are not getting much. These fish we can accept only the petrol money, not for profit. This money can come only the petrol.
But with each passing year, the once abundant fish stock grows scarcer. LED fishing, where bright lights are used by trawlers from Goa to attract fish, threatens the survival of traditional occupation.
To make matters worse, commercial interests encroach upon traditional fishing grounds. Hotels, resorts and tourism development take up valuable space along the coastline, limiting access to the sea and threatening the fishermen's way of life.
Despite these challenges, the fishermen of Cocoa Beach persevere. They navigate the shifting tides of climate change, adapting to unpredictable fish migration patterns and changing weather conditions. Yet they feel abandoned by the authorities, which fail to provide the support and infrastructure they need to thrive.
I am doing 25 years fishing. My father also fisherman. But now we are not getting fish. So what should use of this? We are having lots of problems. Goa government have to take action about it.
As the state continues to develop, finding a sustainable balance between conservation, economic growth and the needs of traditional communities will be crucial. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
Well, created after the merger of two former union territories, it will be the first general election in which Dadranagar, Haveli and Daman and Diu will be voting since becoming a single entity. Located in Western India, the Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu was created after the merger of two former UTs of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu in 2020. The Union Territory comprises four separate districts, Dadra, Nagar Haveli and the island of Diu. Once ruled by the Portuguese, the UT is a blend of history and natural beauty. Spread over an area of over 600 square kilometers, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu is a well-known tourist destination. Its current capital is Daman, while Silvassa is its largest city. In the 2024 general elections, the Union Territory, which has two seats in the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament, is going to polls in a single phase on May 7th. The UT has more than 400,000 voters. Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu is being governed by an administrator appointed by the central government. Prominent parties in the fray are the Bharatiya Janata Party, Shiv Sena and the Indian National Congress. In the 2019 general elections, the lone Lok Sabha seat in Dadra and Nagar Haveli was backed by the Shiv Sena, while the single seat in Daman and Diu was backed by BJP. The 2024 general elections will be the first one in Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu since its merger as a single entity. Election Desk, DD India. Well, the smallest state of India, Goa, goes to polls in the third phase of India's general election on the 7th of this month. Goa celebrates two Independence Days and is home to India's only legitimate two-wheeler taxis. The coastal state has the highest per capita income in India. Goa is also the Western Indian state where the nightlife never ends. Let's take a deep dive and explore why Goa matters as India decides in 2024.
Blessed with beaches and mountains, the coastal Indian state of Goa is a major domestic and international tourism hub, well known for its old churches and Portuguese villas. Once a union territory, Goa became India's smallest state in 1987, spread over an area of 3,700 square kilometers. Panaji is its administrative capital. Located in the Konkan region by the Arabian Sea, the state was ruled by the Portuguese for over 4 centuries until its liberation and annexation by India in 1961. The state is also home to several historical sites, including the churches and convents of Old Goa, which were declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1986. In the 2024 general elections, the state, which has 2 seats in the Lok Sabha, or the lower house of the Indian Parliament, is going to the polls in a single phase on May 7. Goa has over 1.1 million voters, out of which 0.5 million are men, 0.6 million are women, while 3 people belong to the third gender. The state is governed by the Bharatiya Janata Party-led National Democratic Alliance. Other prominent parties include the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. In the 2019 general elections in Goa, the BJP and the Congress bagged one seat each. Although there are other regional political parties along with the Aam Aadmi Party in the fray, Goa is witnessing a close contest between the two arch rivals, the BJP and the Congress, in the 2024 polls.
And for more, we have a correspondent joining us from the ground, Aditya Srivastava from Bhopal in MP. Well, Aditya, good morning. In Madhya Pradesh, if we talk about the 29 seats, polling will be held in 4 phases. There are 9 seats in the 3rd phase, including Bhopal. Could you brace us with the latest as to what all is being planned and the main contestants there?
Yes, Nipakshi, good morning. There are 9 seats where polling will be held on the 3rd phase. Today, National Presidents of Bharatiya Janata Party, JP Nadda, will take a public meeting in Sagar constituency. Priyanka Gandhi is also in Madhya Pradesh today. She will participate in a public meeting in Morena. So we can see all political parties and all top leadership of, especially in the BJP and Congress, are putting an effort, putting full emphasis on it. There are 9 seats, as we know, 4 seats from Bundelkhand, and 4 seats from Gwalior Chambal, 1 seat from Bundelkhand, and rest of are in the middle of the MP. 3 seats are very important seats. One is Guna, where Jyotiraditya Scindia are in battle. Another one is Rajgarh, where former Chief Minister Digvijay Singh are in battle. And Vidisha, Shivraj Singh Chauhan are in battle. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, although are in a contesting election, but he is also doing a campaign in all over the MP, across MP. So not only Shivraj Singh Chauhan, but also Jyotiraditya Scindia also doing campaign in all across the Madhya Pradesh. So all top leadership, not only central unit, but the state unit also put efforts, especially in the Gwalior Chambal region, because there are some places where Congress have a strong hold in the Gwalior Chambal region, but BJP is also putting effort in this election.
All right, Aditya, thank you so much for that update from Bhopal. And moving on, legendary filmmaker Satyajit Ray revolutionized Indian cinema. Born on 2nd May in 1921 in the then Calcutta, Ray was a man of many talents. Ray's debut film, Pather Panchali, is a masterpiece and still inspires filmmakers worldwide. Bestowed with the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, Satyajit Ray is also the first Indian to have received the honorary Oscar in 1992. DD India's Tanvi Thaneja has more on this.
Such were the incredible celluloid skills of Satyajit Ray that renowned Japanese filmmaker Akira Kurosawa once said that not to have seen the cinema of Satyajit Ray means existing in the world without seeing the sun or the moon. Not only did Ray hold audiences spellbound with his storytelling skills, he also catered to a diverse audience. In his early years, Ray worked as a visualizer and illustrator for advertising agencies, using that experience to hone his skills in visual storytelling. These experiences, along with his literary lineage and innate artistic talents, laid the foundations for the creation of the genius filmmaker in Satyajit Ray. Inspired by the works of Western filmmakers like Jean Reno and Vittorio De Sica, Satyajit Ray made his first film, Pather Panchali, in 1955. Pather Panchali went on to define Indian cinema and won 11 international awards, including the Best Human Document Award at the 1956 Cannes Film Festival. The film, along with Aparajato and Apur Sansar, formed the Apur trilogy, a compelling Bengali series. Ray's attention to humanism and his meticulous control over his films set him apart as one of the greatest filmmakers of the 20th century.
Kajol, chole esho. Chole esho. Kajula!
Dadu bokbe.
Dadu jante parbe na. Daduke ami bolbo na. Esho.
Apart from the airport trilogy, Jalsa Ghar, Mahanagar, Charulata, Janaranya and Aguntuk showcased Ray's ability to capture everyday life with complete authenticity and deep sincerity. Ray's versatility, for he was also a noted author, is showcased in the characters he created in the form of Detective Feluda and Professor Shonko. Besides winning a record 36 Indian National Film Awards and numerous awards at international film festivals, Ray was also the first Indian filmmaker to receive an honorary Academy Award in the year 1992. Eminent Iranian filmmaker Majid Majidi are among the numerous film personalities who have expressed their deep respect and profound admiration for Ray's cinematic creations. Today, on his birth anniversary, we once again remember and deeply appreciate this great filmmaker's cinematic skills and timeless celluloid creations. Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Now. Fed leaves the rates unchanged, flags lack of further progress on inflation. Borussia Dortmund seal a 1-0 victory over Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League semi-final first leg. And we'll get you glimpses from Hong Kong as the sky lighted with fireworks to lure visitors, marking the start of the Labor Day Golden Week holiday.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Now. And on to some business news now. The U.S. Federal Reserve has held interest rates at a 23-year high amid stubborn cost of living increases. The central bank on Wednesday kept the benchmark lending rate at 5.25 to 5.50% after a series of economic reports indicated that inflation was easing at a slower pace than hoped. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said U.S. central bankers still believe the current policy rate is putting enough pressure on economic activity to bring inflation under control.
The economy has made considerable progress toward our dual mandate objectives. Inflation has eased substantially over the past year, while the labor market has remained strong. And that's very good news. But inflation is still too high. Further progress in bringing it down is not assured, and the path forward is uncertain. We are fully committed to returning inflation to our 2% goal.
Well, U.S. stocks rallied on Thursday after the Federal Reserve flagged delays to interest rate cuts, while the dollar fell heavily on the yen. Oil fell sharply overnight as the prospect of cuts seemed more distant and after a surprise jump in U.S. stockpiles, with Brent crude futures hitting a 7-week low of $83.44. Japan's Nikkei fell 0.7% at the open, and South Korean shares. Australian shares were flat. S&P 500 futures rose 0.4%. The dollar's value fell by almost 5 yen in 40 minutes of late New York trade to touch 153 yen. Much of Asia is returning from a holiday that had closed markets on Wednesday, though Chinese bond, currency and stock markets remain shut through the rest of the week. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. Italian top seed Jannik Sinner pulled out of the Madrid Open on Wednesday due to a right hip injury. The world number 2 was due to face Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime in the quarter-finals on Thursday. Sinner was expected to play in Rome before the French Open begins later this month. Early on Tuesday, the reigning Australian Open champion fought from a set down to beat Russia's Karen Khachanov 5-7, 6-3, 6-3 in the last 16. And Borussia Dortmund's Nicholas Füllkrug fired in a first-half goal to seal a 1-0 victory over visitors Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League semi-final first leg on Wednesday. Nico Schlotterbeck floated a pass into Füllkrug's path and the Germany forward controlled the ball with a perfect first touch in the 36th minute. Meanwhile, PSG improved after the break but twice hit the woodwick through Kylian Mbappe and Ashraf Hakimi on the rebound. The winners of the tie will face either Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, who drew 2-2 in Tuesday's first leg in Germany.
I think we showed a very good game today, a narrow victory, but a deserved victory. We said that we wanted to take a small advantage into the second leg. There is still so much to play for. We know that next week's games will be a different story. We sense it today and we also sense it in Paris in the group stage. Our clear goal is to make it to the final. Nobody here is putting the brakes on any euphoria, but we want to praise next week. We will get the praise next week when we have earned it.
And Punjab Kings beat Chennai Super Kings by 7 wickets on Wednesday to keep their slim payoff hopes alive in the Indian Premier League 2024. Chasing a target of 163, Johnny Bairstow's 46 of 30 and Relly Rossau's 43 of 23 helped PBKS reached home in 17.5 overs. Earlier, Ruturaj Gaikwad posed 62 of 48 to lead CSK to 162 for 7 after getting an invitation to bat first. Meanwhile, Sunrisers Hyderabad will look to reignite against informed Rajasthan Royals in the 50th match of this season today. Despite their impressive performances early in the season, SRH have slipped to the 5th position on the points table following consecutive losses against RCB and CSK. And Carlos Alcaraz's hopes of becoming the first player to win 3 straight Madrid Open titles came undone as the second seed lost to Andrei Rublev in the quarter-finals on Wednesday. Alcaraz lost to Russian 7th seed Rublev 4-6, 6-3, 6-2. The 20-year-old two-times Grand Slam champion was not at his best despite taking the opening set in 41 minutes. Meanwhile, Rublev put in a dominant performance to roar back and snap Alcaraz's 14-match winning streak. It'll be Rublev's first semi-final in Madrid and he will face either American Taylor Fritz or Argentinian Francisco Ceruldola. And defending champion Aryna Sabalenka eased into the Madrid Open semi-finals with a dominant straight sets win over 17-year-old Russian Mira Andreeva on Wednesday. The Belarusian world number 2 did not face a break point en route to a 6-1, 6-4 win in 1 hour and 19 minutes. Sabalenka will next face 4th seed Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan in what will be their 9th career meeting and first on the clay. Well, Hong Kong welcomed tourists with a fireworks show over Victoria Harbour in the first installment of a monthly series of fireworks and music show marking the start of the Labour Day Golden Week holiday to lure the visitors by showcasing the city's vibrant culture. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.